Ladies and gentlemen, we have a crossover episode. We got Press for Time, Cross, Pass the Controller. If I had the time to make an X-Men versus Street Fighter theme song, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I would do it. If I could do it this weekend, I'll get it done. And you know what? I'll be talking about something that's already there.
Yep.
But either way,
nice.
Super exciting. I'm loving what we have in store for everybody today. You know me. I'm the good old Benny Rose. Tyler Nethers, my partner in crime over on the other side. And I have two special guests, longtime friends of the show. We were actually on their show called Pass the Controller. I want to welcome you guys. How are you today?
Thank you.
Excellent.
That's
good,
awesome,
man.
What an
good.
intro.
See,
Knuckles, that's how you do an intro.
Hold on. I ain't all that hypeness for the beginning for nothing, you know what I mean? Oh boy.
That's why I make Benny do it, man. That's why I make Benny do it.
It's funny because he calls me the hype man. Because when I pass it off, he's like, the hype man gets me excited, and he tells me to open the show.
Uh-huh.
You're like the Flavor Flav of
exactly.
Where the hell's my watch?
Yep.
Where's
yeah,
my
dude.
big necklace?
Hey, man, I'm gonna get you a chain for the candle.
There it is.
Oh, that's dope.
I'm gonna get you
Every
a chain
episode.
for the candle.
What does that smell like? Does that smell like typewriter ribbon?
No,
Jeff.
It smells like.
I was gonna say death too.
Like
it
ass.
smells like
just
like wood, rust, and ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to smell as heinous as possible, right?
Yeah, and I've burnt it before, so for the record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Serial killer.
I hope that is not Chris's blood.
It smells like Chris's blood from 30 years ago for sure.
Yeah, if he left it out in the fucking sun.
See, like I opened it and now the room like wafts of that.
Yeah,
so,
that was a mistake.
No, you gotta wait.
No, I take the good candle out.
Oh,
I got a lot of candles. I got the Child's Play. Child's Play.
Oh.
This one.
Oh,
you know what this smells like? This smells like Fruity Pebbles.
Really?
I love how. I love it. I got this. A friend of mine got it for me from Universal Studios. They do like the horror nights. They have like themes, and funny enough, I have two of them because they did one year and they did one another year. Yeah. The other one smells like shit too. The other one's supposed to be new toy smell. No, my toys don't smell.
What is a new toy smell?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I don't know about new toy smell.
No, the question is what kind of new toy?
That's true.
You better stop. No.
That's true.
No.
Hey,
family show. Sorry.
I got to ask, before we go too far down the rabbit hole here, I got to ask, do you guys all watch the new Chucky series at all?
No.
Nah.
Tyler and I have a funny conflict with that. I am a diehard Chucky fan, and it took years, I don't know where Tyler is here, to watch them, and he didn't like them in the way I was hoping he would like them. So
wow.
I didn't love them. I didn't hate them. I didn't dislike them. I just feel like having not grown up with it, watching it now is just kind of like, meh. You know, like
we're in the same boat, but I had a different reaction. I never saw any, like, I'm a big horror guy, love it. And my wife asked me one day, she's like, hey, have you ever seen like the Chucky movies? She's like, of course you've seen those, right? And I go, believe it or not, it was just never on my radar. I go, it just never like was something I was interested in. And she's like, let's binge them. Do you want to binge them? And this was maybe just like during COVID, maybe so like 2-3 years ago, maybe we went through all of them and I loved them because they're it's so campy. It's such a product of its time. And like, I love the animatronics. I love the practical effects. The new series that's out, it's like, I think they just wrapped up season 3. I love it because like I'm a big Brad Dourif fan. So
am I.
I mean, he's amazing. That dude's like one of the like most underappreciated actors I've ever seen. That dude, everything he does, actor. Exceptional. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly the word. So yeah, she got me into it. But yeah, it was only until like maybe just a couple of years ago I'd never seen a Chucky movie. So I was impressed.
Yeah. So Benny gives me shit because I didn't love them, but like I don't know if you guys use Letterboxd. Because I'm just a gigantic movie nerd. Like that's my whole shtick. So I have Letterboxd, which is an app where you log all your movies when you watch them, and you review them and all that stuff, so you can keep track. But I think I gave the first one 3 out of 5, and I gave the second one a 3.5 stars out of 5. So I was like, that's solid ratings.
That's pretty good.
He was getting on me because I watched all the Saw movies for the first time, and most of those got like 1 star or 1.5 stars.
So it's your own fault. You watched 7 or 8 movies. You could have watched 3. because I don't count a lot of the other ones.
Well, I only watched 2. I didn't watch the third one.
Of what? You
Child's
stopped
Play.
at 2?
Yeah.
All right. That's fine.
That was the one you said I needed to get through.
Yes, you did. 3's not bad though.
I didn't want to offend him further.
Yeah, true.
Is 3 the one where he's like at the military academy or whatever?
Yeah, it's not great because also they didn't bring back the actor for Andy, so like I always had a little bit of hatred towards the movie for that because it's like, as a kid I'm like, that's not my Andy, But I am a diehard Child's Play 2 fan, nice. And Child's Play 2 is in my top 10 movies of all time. And I was able to see that movie at 8 years old in the theater. So that's where my horror life started. So you can understand why I'm a Toxic Avenger fan, because I was watching this at that age too, for the record.
Nice.
Yo, the usher that let you in that theater at 8 years old should be fired, man. For real. Right. Legit.
Well, it's funny because my mother was with me, so obviously there was that. But my dad, having the comic book store, he used to have posters in the store. And because he did that promotion, they would give him screener passes. And that's how I got my mother got a screener pass for the two of us to go see it. So we saw it at probably like 3 weeks before it came out. And then they were doing a giveaway in the theater. And my mother won the giveaway, which was a Chucky doll, which I got to take home, which, yeah, you can imagine how that went.
Wow.
Because I remember, like, they say like 7, 8 years old is when you really start getting those memories you can go back to.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in that theater. I remember when she won it, I thought nothing of it. I'm like, oh, it's cool. It's a doll. And then the movie's on and park this piece of shit. And then all this other stuff. And then the freaking it just kept getting worse and worse. And I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then like the whole
thing. And my mom's going to take this thing home and it's going to kill me in my sleep.
Right. Dude, she tucks me in with it.
No, dude. No.
Cause legit. That's my mind.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
It was nerve-wracking. And unfortunately, my dad had a very dry sense of humor. And we lived in an apartment at one point where I still had it. And I got bold and I decided to throw it down the trash compactor. And I came home from school and it was back in my bed.
It was right in your room. Yeah, man. First of all, that's demonic, man. Now get that guy out of here, cuz no, because how would somebody know, man, to get from the trash compactor, man, or the dumpster?
Because my dad knew people. That's really what it comes down
to. His parents sat down every night and they're like, "We ain't raising no pussy. we fucking with this kid, man."
It's like my kids have Elf on the Shelf. You literally had Chucky.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny, because before Chucky was Jack in the Boxes and Clowns for me, because I used to sneak into their room. So I lived in Brooklyn. I'm sorry, this is going long. I think this is very, very important. We would go in to a certain way that I could sneak in their room, and I used to sneak under their blanket and I'd watch the TV in the living room because there was no door. And they used to watch horror movies late at night. And that's how I got most of my horror fixes. And one day, I think they just got tired of it. They knew, because I think I used to fall asleep in the bed, and then they would just bring me to my room but never tell me. One day I go to do it, and there's a Jack in the Box in front of their door.
Yeah,
opened.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, cuz seriously.
Nah. Hard pass.
No, see, mind you, I have a slight form of like pediophobia, which is fear of dolls. You know what I mean? I can't, like Annabelle or Chucky. No, I would not, man, because I won't be able to sleep. Anxiety will get over me because I can't do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, I will be screaming if that happened, for real. I couldn't do it at all, man. Get the heck out of here, cuz.
Listen. No, thank you.
So clowns did it in for me more than anything else until I got older. And it was at a horror convention and somebody was dressed as Pennywise. And it was kind of like, I got comfortable with them because the guy was being nice in a joking way. I'm like, I guess this is all right. This ain't that bad.
He wasn't doing
and then I've kind of embraced, doing more of like, all right, let me watch some horror movies with like it. And I'm like, all right. Still haven't watched Killer Clowns. I can't get through it. I can't get through it.
So that time, when was that time, Civ, where people was dressed up like clowns on the street? Remember what year was that?
Oh, that was when Terrifier came out.
Yeah, that was going back. What's that? That's about 6 years ago, I think.
6 years ago. So he wasn't scared when people was in the streets dressing as clowns, man, when you driving down the the Parkway.
Well, they weren't near me, thankfully. And funny enough, I'm friends with the original Terrifier clown. So I think he knew not to scare me.
Wow.
My buddy Mike.
Put the word out, man.
There's something about horror that, like, I mean, as a kid when I was watching stuff, it was like, look, I mean, I think you know what you're getting yourself into with like Mike Myers and Freddy and Jason and the Universal horror icons and things like this. But like, what's different about like a Chucky or an Annabelle or something is that, or even like a clown, Pennywise the clown, they're designed to be like physically alluring, like you feel safe. It's not supposed to be something that looks threatening. It's supposed to look benign. Right. So that's like the subtext for that. Like, I mean, when you see Freddy, you're in for it. Like, you can prepare, you can brace for that. But you're always waiting for that moment when when that innocent looking doll like shifts its eyes or moves its head. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, think with like clowns, especially more people I know have that phobia, and I'm like, but people that are into hardcore horror, nothing scares them. They've done it all, they've seen it all. But like, clowns are the things that get to them, or dolls are the things. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
It makes you wonder if there's traumatic stories behind that. Because like, for me, that's really was. Because anytime I bring it up to my mother, she's like, "I'm so sorry. I know. I'm like, you know what? At the same time, you created a monster in both ways.
Yeah,
you created a clown chicken shit, but you created a kid that loves all kinds of horror. And now my 8-year-old loves horror too, which is. I won't torment him. I promise.
Benny, basically, Benny, it's just our imagination just runs wild, at our age, at our young age.
Especially, yeah.
And like I said, depends on the person, you know what I'm saying? So my imagination ran like crazy because that's why I was like, I can't do dolls. I'll sleep in the dark. I'll go down, I'll go down the stairs in the basement, man, with the lights off in the dark. I'm fine with that. But dolls, no, I'm good. It's your imagination. So it depends on the person, really, man.
True. 100%. 100%. All right, Benny, that was an exceptional ice-breaking intro, but now let's pass the controller.
The controller!
To the guys. Tell us, break us in. Brian McNux, what is pass the controller for the folks that don't know?
Go ahead, Nux. This is you. This is a you question.
Nah, the pass controller is basically just, to sum it all up, man. It's a group of friends, man. We like to get together, man, just to talk shop about video games. Honestly, the way we got started, it was crazy, man. I remember this was like 2014, 2015. I was going, in fact, like 2010 era, I was like going to E3 in LA constantly, you know what I'm saying? So 2015 or 2014, 2015, 2016. Coming back with just wanted to talk about like the news I've learned, man, from E3, and I was like, man, I want to talk to people, man. The only person I wanted to talk to was at the time Civic, man. Because Civic, was one of my Facebook friends, man, that was just talking about video games. I was like, oh yeah, I can talk to this guy, man. We can talk shop about video games all the time. So Civic, and then Smoke came along, and we will always we'll be in Smoke's house, man, just talking shop, So. And one day we were just like, you know what? We should just like BS, man, in front of a camera just to talk about video games. Why not? During that time, it was a lot of influential podcasters and YouTube shows. For me, I was influenced by. It was a couple of podcasts I was influenced by. Like, shout out to one. It was IGN Game Scoop. Damon Hatfield host that. I love that podcast. Nice. And then also shout out to the people at Kind of Funny. Kind of Funny, did a lot of stuff, man. I was watching them faithfully, and they had so much fun. It's like the group of people doing just video game news, not just video game news. They were just doing like shenanigans and stuff like that, playing games as well too. And I was like, I want that same vibe, And again, when watching them for so many months and years. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this, man. That kind of built up in me to really want to start my own podcast. And that's when I was like, you know what? I came back from E3. I was like 2016. I told Civ, I was like, yo, we got to do this, man, because I want to just talk about video games as well too, man. Like, seriously, there's a lot of things that's bubble up in me, man. So it was like, yeah, let's do it, man. Smoke agreed as well too. And then that's how Pass Controller was born. We was in the basement of Smoke's crib, and with nothing, no background, nothing like that, man. Just in front of a camera on the tripod, laptop, man. There was so much going on the first year because it was just so. I look back at the first episodes and I'm like, holy crap, man! Look how much we grew as far as one, technology, just to the way just we handle just the format of our shows as well. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just, being influenced by a lot of, good people, especially in the video game industry, in the podcast industry as well, too. And just taking that step to go, to make that your own, and that's what Pass Controller is. Pass Controller is, just being with close friends that you can talk video games about, man. And just, it's just, you can do that for, hours and hours, man. It just, even off camera, me and Civ will be on the couch again in Smoke's house, just talking about, like, yo, what about this game? Oh my God, yo, this game is kind of, what? You know what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of stuff, like sharing back and forth. I was like, we got to put this on the camera. Like, seriously, an hour in front of the camera.
It's important too that, like, I mean, you have to realize when you start into something like this, it's not because you have this notion about, oh wow, we could be famous internet people and make our opinions go viral because we're so very special. No, it's not how it went at all. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about, hey, let's, do something that's popular necessarily, but you meet people that, you have this epiphany moment with where you're like, wow, they can speak learnedly about games in a deeper level, in a deeper way that sort of mirrors like what I'm looking for when I look for people that break things down, like in whether it be, on YouTube or IGN or Kotaku or something. I like people that do the deeper dives. So in speaking with Eric the Smoke Moran, who's not here with us tonight, but he's our third original member, and McNux, it wasn't like we were just talking about, what games do you like to play? Contra. I like to play Contra too. Cool. No, we were like actually having deep conversations right off the bat. And we had a crowd of people that were, around, we're just all over at our friend's house. And we got to the point where the conversations that we were having were being eavesdropped by everybody else around, to the point where they were all quiet and they were just like listening to us talk. And it just was like an epiphany moment where you're like, wow, all my life, like I've really been looking for like deeper conversations, more meaningful dives into like gaming and the industry and what makes what and what gamers do and what voice actors do and what game developers do. And, I said, this is the way that you can do it, because as much as I respect casual gamers, I'm not really so much a fan of like just listening to the opinions of casual gamers all the time, because sometimes it's just like an echo chamber and everybody has an opinion and that's totally cool. But you're looking for more. You want a little bit more of like that analytical feel. You want people that are, they're journalist level commentators. You want something that's going to be a little bit better, a little bit more insightful, and frankly, a little bit more interactive with our audience. And that's one of the things that, like, I think we really pride ourselves on, is really getting the audience involved, responding. We're all across all social media. We have our link right down here. They can check out, but just really like having conversations with them and throwing ideas out and doing, games and things throughout the week and all this kind of fun stuff. So it's really been a learning experience. I think we're still learning. Nux, how long do you think we've been doing this for? Is it, what are we in, like our eighth year?
This is our seventh season right now. Seventh season doing this. And that's the thing too, man. 7 years of doing this, we've had, it's just seeing where we came from to seeing, what we're doing now. I would have never thought when we first started, man, that we would have talked with, like Howard Scott Warshaw, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or, it's just like, that's crazy. Or just, the celebs that we've been talking to at various shows. I would never thought about that, because this was to me, in my mindset when we started this was just a fun project. I wanted to do this because this was just something fun for us to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get closer to Civ. I want to get closer to Smoke. They're my brothers. I want to this is a fun project for us. You know what I'm saying? So, but I never thought that this thing would be like, oh my God, we got to talk to Anjali Bhamani, you know what I mean, at Great Philly Comic-Con, or the cast of Red Dead Redemption. I never would have thought about that. I'd be like, you lying. If you told me that years ago, I'd be like, nah, I ain't doing that, man. That will never happen, cuz. But it did. The greatest thing about it is that too, we all have certain skills, as far as like, I feel like talking like the boy from Taken. We have certain skills, you know what I'm saying? Like Civ is that classic dude, you know what I'm saying? We would want to reach back, way back before I was born kind of game. I'll go to Civ, you know what I'm saying?
I like to think of myself as the Matt Pinfield of the video game world. That's what I aspire to, because I've always had a high regard for Matt Pinfield and his musical, like, he's just encyclopedic. That dude is brilliant. I aspire to that, like, in the video game world.
Right.
You know, I want to be that nerd, man.
You are, bro.
And that's what Civ is. That's what Civ is 100%. So it's like I go to,
I got the hair too. Matt Pinfield look.
And see, that's the thing. Like Civ and Smoke are like the OGs. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, me being younger, you know, I came up in the fourth generation of gaming, which is the Genesis era, Nintendo era. And I'm like, okay, you know, I bring to the table, you know, certain things that, especially like with esports, you know, I mean, I'm a huge fan of esports. You know, I'll go to esports events all the time. Like, you know, I went to the Overwatch Championship one time and where San Francisco swept Vancouver. You know what I'm saying? I love it because that's my niche. You know what I'm saying? I love to do that, you know? And so we all have something to bring to the table. You know what I mean? We can talk about certain things that's happening, you know, a lot of the events that's happening around the video game industry and all that too. But it's just the inputs from each of us, man. It's like, and what Civ says, like, oh, I never thought about that. Where Smoke says, like, oh, okay, all right. You know what, man? It's humbling for each of us, you know? And that's what makes, you know, everything better, each show better, you know? And it's just a blessing, you know, seriously. Come on. It's great, you know?
You guys got something very special going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's three great minds that are very diverse in the way you guys present yourselves too.
And Nick. There's a
I don't see him. I don't see him as much, but yeah.
He said what he said. He said three great minds and Nick.
Three great minds and Nick. No, we love Nick. Nick,
nothing but love.
Nick,
nothing but love.
Nick is cool. He started off as like Nick the intern. Jokes aside, you know, we brought on Nick. What about maybe 3 years ago? And because he was just a guest on our show periodically, but he's the youngest of our crew, and I have never. And this is the best compliment I can give to Nick. I've never met somebody with such like a rapid, high level wit. Like he is a genuinely whip smart dude. Like he knows stuff. He's game knowledge wise, he's still very good, but his real skill is just he's such like a people person. And watching him on stage last year at Too Many Games, he was interviewing Roger Craig Smith, who was the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. He did possibly one. I know I'm partial because it's like he did this for Pass the Controller, but he represented us. But it was one of the best interviews with a voice actor or a video game talent I've ever seen. It is endlessly entertaining. I mean, it's funny. The two played off each other. It was just absolutely amazing. But, you know, I also interviewed Roger Craig Smith prior to that with another member of PTC, and it was still good, but not that good. Like Nick knocked it out of the park. It was just absolutely amazing. So he's awesome. So yeah, right now it's the four of us that are running the show, PTC.
Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome to see that you've grown too, because it also shows that the show has evolved, and obviously sometimes you need help. This show started with just Tyler and I, and we're up to 5 now too. So
wow,
yeah,
that's great.
We're very grateful for that. Everybody, again, same idea. Everybody contributes in a very unique way, and it's very helpful, because at the end of the day, you know, if we all did the same stuff, it'd just be overload and an echo chamber. So, but I gotta give credit where credit's due, because obviously I might be a little biased to Civ because obviously I've known him longer, but obviously when he and I met in the Too Many Games world, it was just casual cosplay, and he was dressed up as Agent 47. I was my rare appearance, because I didn't cosplay most of my life, but I was there as Rick from Splatterhouse, which
awesome.
Steve tends to post about it a lot, and I love that. He knows my heart is there.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've been friends since, and it's just been really cool to see all the evolution of your cosplay over the years, but then obviously just the migration into doing the show. And again, your knowledge you have a wealth of knowledge that it's great to get people to hear it, because again, not enough of the games in depth like that is talked about unless you're looking for that, you know. So you bring it to a wider audience, I feel. So I just wanted to commend you on that.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh no, it's totally important to be inclusive too. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like you just start to realize, especially when you do like the podcast thing, how many different varieties of types of people you have that are gamers. I mean, every type of
Everyone.
Country and gender and age group and everything. It's awesome, and it brings everybody together when it's presented the right way, and when you don't feel like you have, you don't get caught up in any of the drama, which thankfully we really don't. Like we've been relatively drama free, so knock on wood. But no, it's been great.
I'm sure you get the troll once in a while, like we do, that Tyler reply to, and then they don't reply back.
Funny enough, our first real troll. Do you guys know the song "Headstrong" by Trapt?
Yeah.
But first real troll was the lead singer of Trapt.
I think I know.
So as the lead singer who wanted to fight with me on Twitter, he's from the same city as me. So I offered to fly myself back to that city to have a sanctioned, because he wanted to fight me, to have a sanctioned fight with him.
Yeah.
And all proceeds go to the Trevor Project. I said, hey, all proceeds from this fight, 100% charity, whether I win or lose, gets to go to the Trevor Project. Because he was being all he was being crazy transphobic on Twitter and stuff, and talking shit with me. And I promise you, I'm not the fucking one. So I was like, hey man, listen, quit being stupid, and ran it up. He'd done the exact same thing with a friend of mine who hosts the Super Deluxe Game Cast, John Phipps. So he had done the same thing with John years back, and John made him the exact same deal. And the dude blocked him. The dude looked at John, saw how big he was, and was like, oh, bro, different weight classes. I can't fight you. And then blocked John and just carried
You're telling
on.
me that the headstrong, I'll take you on, headstrong, I'll take on anyone guy won't take anyone on?
Won't take anyone on. Exactly. Exactly. So John had done this years back. And so that's how I knew about it. So he was back running his mouth. And I was like, hey, bro, you had this whole thing with my buddy John. I was like, I'll make you the exact same deal. And I'm smaller than John is. So, and I'm from the same city. Like, bro, I'm from the same city. I will come. We will fight. And the proceeds go to Trevor Project. And did the exact same thing. He backed out, blocked me, and disappeared back to his echo chamber on Twitter. So that is my famous first troll story.
Oh my God. Oh man. I don't know if we trolled anybody, Civ. You probably Civ is the king.
No, the only thing we had, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Civ is the king of trolls. I'm gonna tell you that right now, man. I'll try to lay back and see this.
I don't take maybe I do take pride in this. Look, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm coming up from the school of Al Bundy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's just you just have to treat people a certain way sometimes, and we sometimes feel very emboldened by the impersonal nature of social media, and I've always been astounded at the type of people that I confront in daily life versus how they are online.
Mm-hmm.
A very different thing. I just happen to notice when people are in the same room as me, they tend not to be quite as vocal.
Yep.
But we had an incident. I wouldn't say an incident, but it was funny. Maybe almost going on about a year ago. It was right when Mortal Kombat 1, right before they were like doing the promo for that. And then somebody said, oh, Omni-Man's going to be in it. So one of our audience members, they just sent us like through our messenger. They sent us like this like 4-panel art piece of like Omni-Man doing like, the butt squat thing and doing that as his fatality. And I thought it was funny. So we reposted it, and it went insane. Like everybody was sharing, everybody's liking it. And then one day somebody jumps into the thread and goes, hey, that's my art. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I said, yeah, a friend of ours like sent it to us. We thought it was funny. Yeah. Like we all liked it. And they were like, okay, well, why don't you credit us? I'm like, I said, I didn't mess with your watermark. Your name is right there. It's still in there.
Right.
Like, I don't know who you are, but we reshare stuff, but if I don't know who you are, I can't tag you, but I'll share it. I won't alter it. I'm not going to put like our watermark on your work.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is
they
really
got a little
toxic
mouthy about it. Yeah. They were like, you stole this. You're just like an art thief. This person's from overseas. They
took it to heart.
It was,
and
I was like, look, why don't you, I said, here's your chance. Like, tell us about you, like in the thread, be like, hey, this is our art. I'll even change like the header if you have a tag or a site. And they were like, no, not now. It's too late. And they were like instantly like cursing at me and stuff. And I'm like, are you freaking serious right now? Like, what do you want? Do you want us to take it down? Like, I'm like, what's the end game here? Like, you think we stole it? People share stuff on the internet. I was like, I even made the comment. I was like, whoa, I remember my first day on the internet too.
Right.
I'm like, what is your comment? Like, Listen, I'm going to tell you something. If I wanted to steal something, I would do it.
Yeah,
Right.
I would do it.
Yeah,
I'll steal
it's too
something.
easy.
Yeah, but I'm like, your name is in it. Like, nobody changed it. It's
Right,
going
yeah.
viral.
People
Why
can
don't
see
you
it.
ride? Why don't you ride the wave of popularity and link to your site? They were such a
Exactly.
absolute ass about it. I'm like, and I felt like what was it? Like Goldmember when he's like, so there is no pleasing you.
Yeah.
There is no pleasing you. I'm like, I
No
just laid
smoking
out
a pancake.
yeah, 5 different ways by which I could make things right by you, and you basically. So some people they just want to fight. They just how that the Joker. Some men just want to see the world burn. That's how people are, and it's like I look at it like you just came here to fight, because probably people are beating you up on a 24/7 basis. So you see this as an outlet for your pent up emotions. I'm like, look,
Yep.
do what you got to do. But I'm like, people like what you did. I'm like, I don't know nobody was on there going, this sucks. Everybody was like, hey, we really like this. So I'm like, take the opportunity.
Promote yourself.
I feel like it went to money, and they didn't see how they could benefit from the situation.
I was like, it doesn't do us any good. We're a non-monetized site. We don't.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, they don't know how to market themselves, man. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like that's it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing when it comes to art, I have to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm
It's a gray
sensitive
area.
to it. I mean, I've commissioned art. You guys know I've supported artists. Benny, I literally collect artwork. I have commissioned original pieces, multiple. And as like, look, I mean, it's a 4-panel comic. Okay, it's not like I broke into the Louvre and took the Mona Lisa off the wall.
Right.
Okay? I posted a
and then put a pass the controller watermark on it. Here you go. I did this.
Which that's a good idea. I gotta make that too.
Yeah,
man.
It's gonna be like pass that ass.
Oh, what?
Oh,
Hey,
I mean, if you're talking about Omni Man, if it's the image I think it is,
yeah. It's just it's so weird. I don't know. I can't figure people out sometimes. But I mean, we've again, just like you guys, we've been lucky. Like we don't have a lot of drama. It's relatively drama free, and I mean, we talk about some hard hitting subjects sometimes, but it is what it is. What? I'm sorry, Tyler.
I said I weeded out so fast. Like I'm pretty.
Yeah.
I'm pretty.
He
on it
replies
with
to
that
everything.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. And
and
tell
they
people
never
to
reply back.
tell people to get fucked. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be racist. You're not gonna be transphobic. You're not gonna be homophobic. You're not gonna be wild in my mentions. This is my project. This is my page. You can get the fuck gone. I do not tolerate any of that shit.
Yeah,
it's not
agreed.
For me.
Well, you mean you gotta tag my name if you're gonna use my art, dude.
Dude, there was another funny story when I was thinking about when Sid was talking about that too. And for me, like I'm a full-time streamer as well. And one of my buddies is also a friend of the show, real like Peter Griffin, Rob Francisi. We play on Twitch a lot. We play video games a lot, right? We got the opportunity to play Fortnite with a well-known YouTuber in iShowSpeed. And so we got a chance. Yeah, we got a chance to play with him, right? And Speed is funny. We rap before the stream. Speed is a real humble dude. It's, the way he acts is just it's the for the audience. I mean, I love the way. I love
the character to play.
Right. I was twisting his brain about that too. I was like, yo, that's pretty cool. So we all three of us played Fortnite, right? After that stream, I remember going on TikTok, man, and then everybody took the stream and replayed it for themselves for monetary gain.
Yep.
That's how TikTok
works.
It's a heavy I was like, really? I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get mad at that. I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play around. It's like, I'm gonna get on the comments like, man, I sound so weird, hearing myself again. And it was like, yo, is that you? It's like, yeah, man, that's my buddy too. I'll link you to my buddy's stream. But we're not live right now. But it's just weird hearing ourselves. It's like, yo, so we're giving money. Who are we giving money to, man? Some fake guy, man. But man, I'm doing that to every stream that's reposting that stream. Man. It's just too funny, man. You got to play along with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, people. I think that's one of the things that people hate about TikTok is that dark side.
Yeah,
That you can make a career,
exactly,
money, and then you can make passive income by stealing somebody else's stuff.
Oh,
it's not being checked.
Just learned
You
that,
know?
man. Just learned that when that happened to us. I was like, man, okay, I didn't know you could do that, man. Let me freaking dab into that. Let me stop. Now I ain't gonna do
Right.
that. But
No, it's true though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you think about the fact of like, all right, I'm doing something wrong,
Right.
but realistically, you're not. It's just people are shady and people are downloading it. That's removing the watermark and they're just simply reposting it.
Yeah.
And those accounts are just feeds of
Yeah.
regurgitated articles and videos and clips.
Yep.
It happens. It sucks. You know, that's the
Yeah.
dark side of social media.
But yeah, the more you
Because
know, man, the more you know,
I mean, look, I had a scoop stolen on Twitter, and I, in my
True.
heart, it bothered me, but then I humbled myself. I'm like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like I know where it came from, which was when we did the show about weekly versus binging for X-Men 97 and Fallout.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up starting a big thread that lasted over a week with the former showrunner, Bo DeMeo, where we were actually talking about the show and he was throwing out really, really detailed stuff in my thread.
Right.
And then other sites were scooping and be like, oh, he said this, like they interviewed me. I'm like,
wow.
Let's understand the source.
And what I don't like is when nobody gives proper attribution. And
right.
The reason for that is twofold. One, I think that people that are able to find and locate and verify that sort of information, they deserve at least some semblance of credit, because you did the heavy lifting. But the second part is too, it goes in tandem with that, is that I still want to know that like it came from a reputable source. Like I don't like a lot of these articles, and I'm not going to call anyone out, but I saw something today. It really upset me. It had nothing to do with video games, but it was like, sources say Kill Bill 3 is in the works, being filmed right now. Well, I know that not to be true. It's this weird AI generated stuff, but I'm like, sources, like what? Like what's the source?
Right.
Oh, there's sources.
My friend on the blog.
Yeah.
My friend Pedro.
Yeah, my cousin is Quentin's barber, and he said that he was out working. You know what I mean? Some nonsense like that.
I mean, that's like why when we first heard about the PS5 Pro in development, there was a name attached to the source months ago, and it was a reputable name. And I looked at it and I go, I believe this 100%, because this person's whenever I see this one person's name pop up like this insider's name, I'm like, okay, yeah. I go, this is probably true because they're extremely well connected. But they weren't like an official source, but it was like Kotaku or Press Play or something, just like
they feed
recycling.
Off of it.
But I was like, okay, I mean, there's probably some validity to this at least, But yeah, it's always important to like differentiate between facts, opinions, and what could be conjecture.
Leaks and scoops is the other dangerous side of the thing that
no
we stray away from. But I don't know if you guys seen, I know it's like a slight tangent, but just with Twitter, the idea of like all the Marvel leaks that have been happening, how big of a deal that is, that Marvel is sending pretty much warrants and cease and desist to Instagram to find the information about the guy or the person that's leaking.
Subpoenas. They subpoenaed them to see if they can find it.
Because what happened was there's a particular leaker, we're not going to give credit, but it's the idea of they put everything behind a paywall. So they're like, oh, we'll give you a scoop, but you got to pay for it.
Right.
So it's like you're leaking stuff and then you're asking people to pay.
Yeah.
See, that's contrary to the entire spirit of journalism. I mean, if you have a story and you can verify it, you don't own it. You don't listen. We got to stop with this notion somehow that people are gatekeepers to the point where they own what the truth is. I say this from the perspective of somebody who is not only a journalist. I'm a writer too. I write for a video game magazine, Old School Gamer magazine. I'm a staff writer for them. And I also create content regularly. And then in my profession, I'm a research writer. That's what I do, like my regular job. So yeah, I mean, you don't own the information. You're responsible for the dissemination of it and the verification of it, but it's not like you own a fact. The truth is the truth, regardless of who owns it. But you're damn sure going to own a lie. You start lying too much, people make you own that. That's more to my point. I think like when you have people that are doing a lot of this stuff and they just want clickbait and hit of the day kind of stuff, I'm like, man, you lose credibility instantly with me. I'm not down with
Mhm.
that stuff at all. And I never want Passive Controller to be that way. There have been times where I've said on our show, I'll mark something. I'll be like, hey, I'm saying this because I think this to be true. We'll go back and verify it, but here it is. Then you spell something out, and you got to be real careful what you say,
Oh
because
yeah.
like
Of
UI
course.
wants to your public. It's well, unless you're certain people. If you're a politician, you can probably lie all you want. I think it's kind of like
You have to. It's part of the job description.
It is, yeah.
But you don't want a pony if I'm president?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh man.
I don't know.
No, it's
I don't
true. You're
know.
absolutely right. It's a tough industry to even be part of, realistically. And my perspective of the way we contribute to the gaming industry is like vastly different than like an IGN, a Kotaku, like, because we do this on our own, pure passion. We're not part of this big conglomerate that's staffing us, that has all these rules and regulations. This is coming from us, from our guts. We have our connections, and we try to stay true to what we're about, which is focusing on one big thing and not trying to create controversy over. I mean, I wanted to start a little controversy with Uwe Boll, but that was it was in pure fun for the
I
record.
love that interview
Right,
too.
Yeah.
It's different too with Passive Controller. It's like we don't consider ourselves like a news site or a news blog or anything. Like, we'll talk about current events or something like that, but it stops very quickly with the like, here's the story part. Then it goes into what got us to this point. How do we move on? How does everybody feel about this? What are the lessons learned? Like, it's one thing to say, hey, the industry really sucks right now because of all these layoffs and these downsizings and companies going out of business and stuff like this. And, but okay, let's talk about the impact of it. Like, that's where I think a lot of these like news organizations, I'm not being critical here. It's not really their job to do this part. It's our job as gamers and fans to do them. We have to run with the baton. So I don't fault them for not digging deeply into things, but that's where like gamers like us, we have to start asking ourselves bigger questions. Like, how does this impact me? What did we as gamers do to maybe cause a thing? How can we participate in different issues throughout the industry and things like this, and what game comes out that makes us feel good? What happens when we feel bad? Like, we talk about these things, whereas like I think you can go into some deadly territory sometimes, but at least it brings you closer to a better global understanding of how we feel as gamers in general.
And that's a funny thing too, because especially with a lot of news that we hear these days, we like to play both sides of the ball in a way that, for me, Civ knows I like to play devil's advocate with a lot of the news that we talk about. You know what I mean? So like, look at the side of, especially the layoffs. Look at the side of the business manager. Look at the side of the the CEO, the COOs. Man, why would they do this? You know what I'm saying? Would you understand from the mind of these managers of these big companies of why they got to lay off these people? And because of that, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, would you do that? You know what I mean? So it's like you play both sides. You do learn some stuff as well too.
Oh yeah.
At that point, it's like not a lot of people actually do that. They're like, oh yeah, this is bad. This is horrible, man. But understand both sides of the story. Then you be like, okay, you can kind of rationalize yourself. Like, all right, yeah, well, you know what? In order to prevent this from happening, A, B, and C. You know what I mean? So I love to do that. That's what we do. Is sometimes on the show is we'll play devil's advocate on both sides, and then learn a lesson from there and just keep it going. So it's always a learning curve when we do these stories. And like Civ says, it's not just news, from point A to point B, but it's always a learning curve. It's always what we get from it, man. It's going to benefit us. That helps us to understand more on the business side, video game business market. So yeah.
And ours is no longer an industry that can claim that it's still in its infancy. It's not. It's in its adolescence now. I mean, it was practically stillborn back in '83 when we had that first market crash, and still there are lessons being learned. Like, luckily, we moved past that time, and companies got a little bit better and things improved, and there was a little bit more attention to quality and market stability and gamer experience and things like this. But like, you can't look at a news source right now that has anything to do with the industry and not feel like kind of depressed about a lot of things you see. And this is on the heels of 2023 was arguably one of the best years in gaming ever. And I mean, honestly, it could have been the best year for gaming ever. You look at the games that came out last year, and you look at the profits that were made, and you look at the Metacritic scores across for everybody, from the top CEO all the way down to the casual mobile gamer, it was the best year probably for gaming ever.
Oh yeah.
And then 1 year later, we've had over 9,000 layoffs. We've had multiple companies go under. We have new AAA studios popping up for some freaking reason.
Yeah.
Nobody's
All
learned
established
anything.
ones are failing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I don't know. What do you got, Benny and Tyler? I mean, what are we not seeing here? What do we not? Is it hubris? Is it
Greed.
overextension of this idea where everything has to be this big, expensive $1 billion AAA project? Like what in the hell is going on?
It's just greed. It's greed, in my opinion. In my opinion, the core of the issue is greed. And you look at things like the Microsoft acquisition of Activision. And, we are not going to dive into the depths of the Bobby Kotick stuff, but he was let go from Activision after they were acquired for a very specific set of reasons. And I'm pulling the number off the top of my head, but I want to say $340 million was his golden parachute.
That's exactly what it was.
As he was let go.
Same number.
Yeah, $340 million.
Well, he was going to turn around and buy TikTok with his golden parachute money.
Yeah.
That was the recent rumor that came out about 2.5 weeks ago, where Bobby basically was going to, when Congress was going through that hearing for the future of TikTok, he's like, I'll buy it. I mean, look, I think sometimes fault can be disseminated, as with anything. Like, I mean, when you look at like different issues with, the gaming industry in, recent years, look at Gamergate,
Yeah.
was responsible for that. Everybody had their hand in that catastrophe. That was ridiculous, and it's embarrassing, and it's a blight. And every time I hear it brought up, I cringe. I'm like, God, why don't good people speak up and put shit like that to bed? Nobody did. Oh, a couple people did, but it played out way too long, and it's just stupid stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at this whole thing with downsizing and layoffs and this kind of stuff. This is 100% the fault of these bigger corporations, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise. It's not retailers. They're still selling games. It's not Amazon. It's not gamers. It's not digital distributors. It's not the media. It's nobody's fault but the companies.
Yep. And the people at the top of the company.
Thank you.
It's the money men at the top. It's not middle management. It's not, yes, there's a whole nother host of issues there, but with the financial part of it, it's all from the top because, and
shit trickles down.
I'm pulling it off the top of my head because I don't have anything pulled up right now because just we're doing a casual show. But Microsoft, $21 billion profit last year.
Yeah.
Profit, $21 billion with a B, billion. And obviously Microsoft encompasses far more than just Xbox. Yeah. But the Xbox division is such a large piece of that. And they also post profit. The fact that they're then shuttering studios that make, as we discussed in our last episode, games like Hi-Fi Rush, that all from their executives' mouths, this is what we want to do more of, shuttering the studio.
Award-winning games too. Yeah, on top of that,
greed. It's greed unchecked, and at a level that I feel like society previously never even understood it could reach. People are making money. Individuals hold more wealth than entire countries at this point. And, that's I can soapbox for 16 hours about this, and I don't have a solution. So I try not to talk about stuff that I can't solve. Right. But when you have that same mindset and that same effect at the top of these companies and the people that are making these decisions, and you don't have artists running art anymore, we're left out. It's the same with the movie industry.
Well, I think too, there is a place for AAA games, and there always will be, but I think that there was a glut last year. There were so many that were big, heavy hitters, and it's kind of like the same thing. Now, Hollywood learned this lesson a long time ago, is that you always listen to what other studios are doing, what other movies are going to come out the weekend that you want your big movie to come out. So Universal will look at, across the street to whoever else, is making a big movie, and they're like, okay, well, we'll put this on hold. I see 20th Century, they're doing something different. So they'll coordinate, they'll stagger things,
Yeah.
The gaming industry has not yet learned this at all. And I think what was a funny
many
example,
games fail from that reason.
Yeah, the cute example I always remember was when Doom Eternal came out the same day as Animal Crossing Horizons. It was
That's right.
it was
Yeah.
so funny. But
Yeah.
you look back and you're like, okay, that's fine and all. But what happens when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out the same day as any other game? Literally, it's gonna get just bodied. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So it's all about, like, I guess, how you stagger things. And look, I'm not a financial genius when it comes to this stuff. I'm not a project director on that level, so I don't know the intricacies, like, to Tyler's point. But I think that, like, the one thing that bothers me is, like, you look at some of the best games in recent history. Look at Hades, and you look at Hi-Fi Rush, and you look at Tunic, and you look at, like, even Helldivers. These are small studios with not a lot of budget and not a lot of staff, and yet somehow, some way, for the most part, they're doing things right. I mean, it's through no fault of their own that some of this stuff is happening. Now, Arrowhead with Helldivers, there's some other things. And Sony is no saint in this either. Look, I'm a Sony guy.
Yeah, of course.
But I am very critical of Sony. I see what they do. All three of the big three companies have a lot to learn.
Agreed.
All three have, like, their one cardinal sin that they can't stop doing, and the mistake they keep, like, Nintendo will never be like a historian's gaming system. It's never going to be like, they're never going to archive correctly. They're never going to provide digital content, and they're always going to sue your pants off. God forbid, should you emulate a video game. Xbox, their cardinal sin is they just buy everything they see, and they won't innovate for themselves. They won't.
Yep.
And they're not going to do a handheld. They're not going to do VR. They're not going to do, like, they're just done. They're parlaying into a PC culture, and that was their aim since the early 2000s. They wanted to bring people into the fold. They weren't serious about really being, a console, in my opinion.
They're risk averse. They're far too risk averse. You look at, especially in the media, like games journalism, people lambast the PlayStation Portal or the PSVR 2. Oh, it's not hitting sales goals. Oh, it's not doing as well as Sony
PlayStation
wanted.
Portal is one of the most successful pieces of gaming hardware. So, and it's awesome. It actually works incredibly well.
I love that thing, dude. I was playing Endwalker on the beach in Florida with my Portal. I shit you not. But, like, people criticize that, but at least Sony's taken a risk. At least they tried the Vita. You know what I mean? Like, at least they gave these things a shot. They tried those cool little discs. Like, they're at least willing to innovate and lose.
Yeah.
they've
Whereas
been doing that their whole life. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
my beef with Sony, though, is that they are sometimes a little too over involved, and they break things that don't need fixing.
Exactly.
It's like, guys, just leave it alone. Helldivers was doing great. Everything was great in Helldivers land. And then Sony came along and said, you know what? Maybe we should require them to have, PC gamers to have a PSN account. Like, what? Why? Oh, and we'll tell them it's because it's for security reasons. They'll buy into that.
Yeah, for
Had
sure.
nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
Well, again,
the world handled that real well.
Yeah, again,
PlayStation's PR is abysmal, I swear.
Well, that's the thing. You got to look it through the minds, and I like playing devil's advocate as well too. You know what I'm saying? Look it through the minds of the PR. Look at the minds of the project managers as well too. The fact that, okay, you know what, we want more people to get into the PlayStation universe. You know what I'm saying? So why not do that? Okay. Look at
they lied about the reason. That my point is
it's about how it's executed.
That's true.
Say, listen, no, everybody understands that things change. Look, the Epic Games Store's changed enough times. Valve has changed their storefront. Nintendo's deleted more stores than they've ever created.
Yeah,
who knows?
Exactly.
But the point is, just be honest about it. Just say, hey, look, we are trying to create sort of this global, initiative to have, like, all this stuff under one roof. Eventually, we're probably going to create something more into that benefits the user on the end. But they said it was for security reasons. And we all knew that's bullshit. That's not the reason. You're lying to people. And Nux, I called it 100%. I said, within a week, they're going to redact this. It's going to go back to normal. They're going to apologize, but the damage is already done. And a week later, I swear, and it's not like I'm some kind of, I think all people probably saw that coming. It's like, look, if enough people voice their, about something, things are going to change. Hey, just look at Sonic in that first Sonic movie. Everybody started complaining and things got done. So I think gamers got to start using our voices a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, at the same time, it's like, you got to look at these big head honchos expectations or their mindset. Well, I'll give you an example. Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? You know what I mean? Again, anticipated game. I think there was like 2 million copies that was sold, I believe, right now currently. Square Enix says, "Oh man, we were disappointed." I'm like, how?
Undersold.
I was like, how in the world you think this, dude? It's the same number for Hi-Fi Rush, dude. And so it's the mindset, man. It's the mindset.
I'll give you another example. Look at Dead Space remake. You know, there was that rumor that basically EA wasn't happy with how the game was received and how it sold. I'm like, it got nearly perfect reviews. It was a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing, and it did sell well. Everybody was clamoring for that game. And all of a sudden they're like, well, the future of Dead Space 2 remake is kind of up in the air because gamers didn't buy enough. I'm like, stop shaming us.
Right.
Maybe you guys should be a little bit more realistic about how many you make. How about this? I'm just saying here, dial it down a little bit, take a little more time to make the game, create it for like a little bit less overhead, ship it out at the same price. You want to sell it for $60, go. But then adjust what your projections are and say, hey, look, realistically, maybe we won't hit, 2 million copies. Maybe we'll hit 1.5. Maybe we'll hit 1 million. I don't know. But we'll consider that a success.
Right.
But everybody wants to grind out. Everybody wants to like make that fast cash and then sell out. And that's what's compounding this too, is you have like companies like Embracer Group who are basically going in and buying stuff for the sole purpose of killing it.
Yeah.
They make money when things die. You don't understand. It's how companies like that operate. You know how you can tell that a company operates that way is when they come out with a press release that says, hey, we're not that way.
Yeah, no kidding.
They actually had to say, that's not what we do, despite all evidence to the contrary. This is exactly what they do. We're not stupid. We're watching this happen in front of our faces. Gamers are not dumb people. We're opinionated and we're bullish sometimes, but I don't think we're stupid. I think most gamers you meet are, at least have some understanding, functional knowledge of how things operate. And to say that like it's a bold-faced lie. So it was impressive that they tried that, though. I was like, I don't think you guys are gonna have much luck, with that angle. But yeah, it's the world in which we live right now, I guess.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on Helldivers because that's what we talked about on the show when we came on your show. Are you guys still playing it? And if you are, how much? Are you still playing it as much as you were before, or is it kind of faded off?
So I'll let you go first on that one, because
I'm not playing it as much, but still like probably at least every other day for a couple hours. The game still has its issues. Some of them, again, self-inflicted. The devs, like one day they're like, okay, we're gonna nerf this cool cannon we gave you because it's just too strong, and we're gonna change the way the bots operate, and we're gonna like do every single day. It's like they never stop and just be like, okay, let's just have a week where we just let people play the game. It changes. They change the rules every day. They change the connectivity levels. Like one day's glitches, the next day's feature kind of thing. It's still a great game. It's probably going to be Game of the Year contender. Yeah. I mean, at this rate, I seriously don't know what else is coming out this year that's like a big blockbuster game that's going to just blow the lid off everything. I mean, there's maybe a handful, but I think right now Helldivers has a shot. It's still a quality game. It just needs to stabilize, and I think that starts with like developers having just a little bit more like it just dial it down a little bit. Let people just get used to the game. Fix the things that need to be fixed, but don't start throwing shit into the game that you guys can't handle yet. Like we're patient people. We'll get around to that. Right now, just make it so that I don't disconnect when I'm 35 minutes into a 40-minute mission. I would appreciate that. But yeah, how about you, Nux? You playing it?
See, Civ, with you, man, you like to focus on 1-2 games at a time for sure, man. I applaud you on that, man. I hate myself, man, because as a variety streamer, I have a backlog of video games that I have to play on a daily basis, man. I will play Helldivers if Civ, says, "Hey, come on." I'm like, "Bet, okay." Yeah. I have to be urged to play Helldivers. This is probably not a passion in me to play Helldivers. I try playing Helldivers like solo, so with people, it's like, all right, it's not, it's okay, like playing with Civ is all it gets purpose, whatever. So I had to be urged to play Helldivers, Would I go back to Helldivers at from time to time? Yeah, for sure. Man, absolutely. But that's not my first choice, It's not my first choice.
You just touched on something important though, because you had asked me one time, somebody had asked me like, Brian, why don't you Civic, why don't you stream games? Why don't you do your own game stream? Hell no.
because you will fall in that same trap, man.
I'll talk about games all day long, but the time that I actually spend gaming is pure solitude. I don't want anybody watching me. I'm not doing it for their entertainment. I don't want to be judged. I'm not doing it because I'm braggadocious. I don't want to be put in the position where I feel like I have to entertain any mofo. That's my time. So and by the way, Nux, it's funny you say I concentrate. I do have like a primary game that I play, but like last night, this week actually, I was playing Super Baseball 2020 for the SNES. Nice. I just felt the need, and I was playing that. I'm playing Outlast Trials right now. That game is cool.
Nice.
Still playing Dead by Daylight. And I'm all over it. I play more. I jump around a little bit more than you probably think I do, but maybe not as much as I should. I still probably should play more because my backlog.
I think we all suffer from that.
Dude, daily.
Yeah, facts for sure, man. That's what the thing is too. It's like I had to. It's like something has to really stick out a lot, man, for me to like stay on that game. Like again, going back to Hi-Fi Rush, I had to come home every day from work to play that because something about that game, and me and Sif talked about that on the show so many times. It was the music, it was the color, it was just something just stuck with me. I was like, I got to see what happens next. I was playing that every day on stream, and people was like, yo, I love this. I get this, pretty much captured me. And I'll tell you right now, what captured me now, the flavor of the month right now for me is Contra Operation Galuga, man, which is probably one of the best Contra. I love that Contra.
I gotta pick it up.
Oh my god!
I gotta ask you guys, what was the last game that you were like quote unquote addicted to? Like you had not just that you were playing avidly, but like you were thinking about it when you weren't playing it. You couldn't wait to play it again. Yeah. Like you really were like immersed. Like what was the last game for you guys?
So Benny's going to laugh, and everybody in the audience is going to laugh because we joke. You guys are very familiar with Raid Shadow Legends, the YouTube ad game.
Yeah, the mobile game.
Yeah. I am 2 years deep. I run 2 accounts, and I am in one of the top clans on the planet.
Wow.
I play Raid Shadow Legends. It is constantly running. I am researching new champions. I am working on builds. I am getting gear. I am speed tuning boss runs. I am constantly passively playing Raid Shadow Legends, and I have been for about 2 years. But as far as real life human people games go, Final Fantasy 14, and that's an up and down. I'm still up as I was when we came on your guys' show. Mm-hmm. I'm still hooked, hammering away, getting ready for Dawn Trail. But really MMOs are the only thing that get me obsessed like that. Single player games really don't, except for Souls games. And that's just kind of that's the genre. I have a genre addiction, not an individual game addiction, I guess there.
Yeah.
Dude, Tyler, wait, so before Betty, because Tyler, I'll tell you right now, I'm with you on that one as well too. The same way I was into 14, that I was when the game first came out, I was playing it when it was released on the PlayStation 4. I played it on the PlayStation 4, and I got so hooked to it to the point where the Titan boss battle, I queued up for that almost like every other day, and I didn't beat Titan until a year later but I queued it up Dude, Titan for me was the hardest boss, but I was like, I'm going to beat it. Today, I'm going to beat it. May 19th, I'm going to beat it. May 22nd, I'm trying to beat it. June 8th, I'm going to beat it, and I never did. It had to take me a year, and I finally beat it. Dude, I ran out butt naked. I was screaming. Yo, legit, I was so happy.
You play games naked frequently?
Absolutely, dog, and it feels great. Listen, I encourage you.
Well, I thought he was taking it off and then.
No, yeah, I am frequently. That's part of why I have a portal. And why my PlayStation is not hooked up to my PC to run through my monitors and shit. It's in my room, hooked up to my TV, so I can lay butt ass naked in bed with my wife, and I can play.
Mm-hmm. Freedom.
I guess, Civ, I guess we didn't get the memo.
I was gonna say this part's never gonna make the final cut, is it?
Oh, it's definitely going.
Oh no, it's
yeah, we don't edit anything like this out. We just edit like flubs or like if we have awkward dead
No, I'm just gonna add the what did he say?
Hey yo.
Yeah, man. No, we are fully authentic here. Nothing's off limits. We just talk
I
about
get that.
I
gaming
think
with
the
the
most
cheeks
I
out,
ever
man.
edit out is my uhs. I'm
Yeah.
like, I said too many times.
Yep.
Cut the sitting there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
man.
but
All
for
right.
real. So I'm not even kidding. Fucking Raid Shadow Legends, man. All day.
Shadow Legends.
All day.
And
All
then
day.
next,
Raid
and
Shadow
the next
Legends.
month will be Elden Ring, right? Or the month after.
So I do have the Elden Ring DLC coming out, which that's just like there's like
Yeah.
5 days where I don't exist anymore. My wife, I have a wonderful, long-suffering wife. She is incredible.
You say long suffering.
Oh yeah, she is the most wonderful woman on the planet, and she accepts my illnesses. Right? She loves me for who I am. So she'll take care of the kids. She takes care of the dogs. She's like, hey, I understand you have a new, and this is only for new Souls games. Like that's the only thing that really gets me like this. She's like, I know you have a new Dark Souls game. You have a week. You have a week. Do whatever you need. Do whatever you need. And she takes care of basically everything else so I can be a child. And I am so eternally grateful for that. But yeah, so that'll be a short period, but it's not really like that same obsessive level. What about you, Benny? What was your last obsession?
It's the same obsession it's been since 2020, unfortunately.
Fortnite.
And that's Fortnite.
Oh, dude.
970 hours I'm clocked in. I'm about to hit 1,000 hours. And this is the season that I've played the most wins, the most crown victories. I play mostly solo, but just having the time of my life because it's casual. I could put it on, turn it off as I need. I could play a match, be good for the day, but I play it consistently. But outside of that, I started jumping into Dave the Diver, which never in a million years thought I'd be playing a game like that.
Good game. Wait till the Godzilla DLC, man. Oh my god, dude.
Dude, like I learned how long the game was, and I'm like, holy crap, like 24 hours to beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I'm like not even 10 hours in. But I picked up a game today that I've really been looking forward to. It's kind of PS1, PS2 horror inspired called Crow County, which actually
I heard about that.
I've heard that as well. Yeah, I heard great things about that.
Been following the developer for about a year, and I've just been in love with it, and I'm like, I got to pick it up. So that's on my list. And then I'm a big, if you guys ever heard of the developer Puppet Combo,
yeah,
I'm always cycling through their games.
VHS tapes, game styles. Yeah.
I'm
I've been watching
sucker.
a lot of YouTube play that, man.
Yeah, so
I won't play that, but I watch a lot of YouTubers like Corey Kenshin and Markiplier. Yeah, I can't, man.
So Monica and I are actually reviewing their next game that's coming out next week, and we actually are scheduling our first live stream together next Friday.
I gotta see.
Go online with that, and the developer actually might show up on the
nice
the show with us.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I love jumping into like undiscovered horror. So like I find that part of my journey of, I may not sit on one game, but if I can find one of these games that like gravitates me towards it, like I forget the name of it. It was a game that I had found on a whim digitally, and it was like about a carnival. It was a horror game, very short, and it had like Five Nights at Freddy vibes. It had like a mascot on the cover. I don't remember if it was called The Ride or something like that, but like I played it. It was about an hour and a half. It was just like an experience, and it was just awesome. And my kid was like, "This is really cool." That's the stuff that I like try to find, and it's hard because the network is saturated with indie games, and it's hard, to take a chance on something. And is it going to be good? Is it going to be really bad? Like there's a lot of really bad ones out there.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, though, man.
Yeah, agreed. Well, my wallet doesn't agree. But yes.
I get that.
That's true.
I think we've all been there.
Sid, what's the last thing that really, really got you truly obsessed outside of Helldivers?
Splatterhouse.
So it was funny because like I bought this game at launch and then parked it. I played it for like 5 hours when it came out, and of course when I tell you the name of it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah. The launch was not a very good launch, but I waited about 4 years and it became an absolutely awesome game. Was Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah.
I really ended up getting into it a lot more than I thought I would. I platinumed the game. I played through the DLC. This was really good. Like, is it a perfect game? No. But that might be like one of the most ambitious games I've ever played in my life. I mean, it's got so much going on. And it's awesome. I mean, like to really like immerse yourself in a game like that and, take your time and explore everything and do all the stuff. It's quite the experience. So, paying for a game like that you're going to get, I mean, I think I put like maybe just short of maybe like 90 hours into it.
Okay.
I think something like that. And that's ideal. Like, I don't know that I want too much more than that. Like, I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I've dabbled in it. I haven't really like jumped headfirst in. Like, I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, but like I just know the time that it's going to take for me to like really get through it. So I'm kind of ambivalent. Like right now, my friends are playing Helldivers. They all want to play Helldivers with me. I'm like, all right. Same thing with like Dead by Daylight. Like people know that if they just dangle that carrot, like I'm going to jump off whatever game I'm playing. We're going to play Dead by Daylight. So it's just how it goes. I mean, like I just think it's such a testament to like when you play a game and you get so into it that you're like, you feel like a kid again. You're like so jazzed to play it. Like you're thinking about it when you're not playing it. You're like so excited to get back into it. Yeah. I mean, Helldivers is pretty close to that though. That's one of those games. It's like one more match. You just you kind of like always feel like you have one more in you. But yeah, no, I mean it's cool. Like a lot of companies
I'm surprised
would do well
you didn't bring up
a
a certain game. I was expecting to hear Warframe from you, honestly.
Oh man!
You know what?
A minute since talked about Warframe.
Oh, Warframe,
and you
dude.
asked me that question. That's an 11-year-old game now. Like if you would have asked me that question maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago,
5 years ago.
I mean, it's like I just got to the point where I'm like, I love the game, I really do, but I had to pull myself away because I'm like, this is such a time suck now. Like I really could just play this game to the end of time and be very happy. And that same thing happened to me with Dead by Daylight because like every year you get your stats of like what games you played and stuff like that. For like 3 years in a row, the number one game I played was Dead by Daylight. I have put like well over 1,200 hours into that game, and I'm like, okay, I think it's got to like I'll still play it whenever a new killer comes out, new content, I'll play it. That's cool. But like I've got to get outside that box now. I'm like, there's other games that are just like sitting there waiting for me. Like if I told you some of the games in my queue now that I haven't played, you'd probably be mad. Be like, yo, what's your problem? Like, why not? Like, why haven't you played? Like, I don't even want. I'm kind of hesitant to even give me like an example. Okay.
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, we're all going to be guilty of that. To be honest, I think that's
God of War Ragnarok. I re-binged all the God of War games before Ragnarok came out because I was like, oh, I want to play that like when it comes out. And by the time I re-binged everything, I was like so sick of God of War. I'm like, I'll just wait for Ragnarok. And it's sitting there on my shelf. Like I played a little bit of it, but I'm like, I just know that like once I get into it, I'm gonna have to like dedicate time. That's a game that's like a little bit of a time suck. You really have to dedicate, several hours to. So like I don't want to. It's not because I'm lazy. I don't want to do it. It's because I know what I'm up against. I know like I throw myself into games like wholeheartedly. It's like I don't want to half-ass it. Like if I paid for it, I'm going to experience it right. But yeah, I mean, look, you get into the age like you realize you're not going to play every video game. You're just not. The reality of the situation is most of the games I have right now, I'm probably not gonna play. Most. That's such a sobering thing to say because when you're a kid and you had to mow lawns and save up money to get like a crappy NES game, you played it to death and you got really good at it because it's the only game you had until you bought another game, and then you did the same thing. You played that one to death. But the older you get, you start doing like these whimsical things with your money. Sometimes you're like, I know I don't need it, but I'm gonna buy it. But it sits there, and then you're like, crap. Am I gonna play it? I don't know. Whatever. So I don't know. Just trying to be real here. Aren't we all kind of doing this?
No, that's funny.
We're all adults at the end of the day.
No, it's funny. You play games the exact same way I do. So I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I have Dragon's Dogma 3. I've got a couple other big recent releases that I bought day one, bought physical, have the copy sitting in my bedroom that I have not started yet because I'm still so hooked on 14. And I know if I start 7 Rebirth, I'm not going to play anything else. I'm going to focus on doing that until I'm done. If I start Dragon's Dogma, I'm going to want to focus on doing that until it's done. So I have all that on hold until after Dawn Trail comes out. I'm like, yeah, I know for a fact I'll get to these games, but I have not had the opportunity to do so properly yet. So I haven't even dipped my toes in because it's like, no.
You know what I did for years, and I swear by this, and I think I'm going to go back to doing it anyway because I did this for several years. Instead of just like focusing on one game, have 2 games that you're playing concurrently that you're really serious about, and they can't be the same genre either. Like I'll give you an example. I remember like when, oh hell, it just I think it was in PS2 era. I think it was like I was playing like Time Splitters and Gran Turismo. I would literally take one out and pop the other one in and give them equal time and play through. And they're so different that your mind sort of wraps itself around the experience in a different way. So it feels like you're getting like more bang for your buck. But I didn't want to like short one for the other. Like I was playing those. And then if like one of my roommates or something was like, yo, you want to play Madden? I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. Pop that in just for like filler. But like have 2 games that you're really playing like hardcore. Like right now I should be playing maybe wean off of like Helldivers a little bit, but I should probably be playing like Outlast Trials, because that's your horror first person kind of game, and I should be playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, RPG, kind of lighthearted, like opposite ends of the spectrum, but like it kind of like each one like fills in the gap of what you need as a gamer, So I think I'm going to start doing that again.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all.
We're all going to steal it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Guys, it's been an hour 15. I don't want to waste your time. Don't want to keep you around late. Let's end on. I want to end on a couple little rapid fire fun question. So, Civ, favorite game of the last 20 years? Say 20 years.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, light, easy question to send you guys off with.
20 for the last 20 years?
Yeah, ish.
I'm trying to remember when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, but I think that's within the last 20 years.
It is.
That's
Metal Gear Solid. That was 2004-ish.
I want to say 6, but maybe you're right. 4.
I think it's in the. We'll put it in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything in the 2000s, we'll say is fair game.
Yeah, that's arguably like my favorite game of all time. Oh, 2008. Never mind, we were way off. Yeah, of the last 20 years, yeah, I would say Metal Gear Solid 4. I think the game holds up amazingly well. I think it was like incredibly ahead of its time, and it's awesome. Everything about that game is as close to perfect as you can get.
Love it. McNux?
God, Lord, man. I think, honestly, in the last 20 years, man, this is probably, I don't know. See, now I got to think about it. I think, so I'll got into RPGs, right? I'll say one of my favorite RPGs was the Dot Hack series. I'm trying to remember when the IMOQ series came out, man. And it's probably been a minute. I got to look that up, man. But I would say probably I know the GU series, which is also my, in the Dot Hack universe as well too. That came out, I think, a little, in that 20-year gap. So I would say, yeah, definitely that, man. I love the story, the fighting game, the story aspect, it's just a great RPG, man. If you want to get to RPGs, Dot Hack, go for Dot Hack.
Excellent. Civ, favorite movie?
Based on a video game? Or...
Doesn't have to be. Just any movie.
Postal.
My favorite movie of all time. Damn. I always split them into like, yes, from a movie maker's perspective, this is my actual one, and then this is like my. All right, so I think that most likely, I'm going to be that guy. I got to say, Shawshank Redemption is probably artistically and technically probably the greatest movie ever made, right up there with Godfather. I know I'm that guy, Godfather and Shawshank Redemption, but like guilty pleasure favorite movie of all time is Transformers the movie from 1986.
Oh wow, okay.
And I know, you know what, I'm saying this because I know we have a fan there with a G1 Fortress Maximus right behind him. That if your house is ever broken into and that's the only thing that's ever stolen, you'll know who took it. Because that was the Transformer that I never got. I never got a Fort Max.
I have a third-party Metroplex over here on the other side of my floor that's not open yet.
That might have to come with me too.
Yeah, now there's 2 things missing.
And on Sunday, I'm going to the 40th Transformers screening that they're doing in the theater. I'm sure you're doing that.
Saw it on Wednesday, dude. You will not be disappointed. It's really cool. Hey, we'll have to compare notes because the guy that is now the new voice actor who does the voice for Starscream, I know it's sacrilege to say this, but he's like just as good as Chris Latta. It's crazy how good he is. He's really good. I was like, okay, new Starscream.
Nice.
See, this is why Benny and I both host the show, because I am so out of my depth right now.
Yeah, right.
No Transformers. Y'all are just saying stuff, and I'm just nodding like, yes, absolutely. Active listening.
Yeah, but before that, he was saying movies that were right up your alley at the same
I know.
time. So there you go.
Yeah, Godfather's
It's a good mix.
everybody's pinnacle for a reason. So that's
Not-
right. And
not
I
me.
get that. I have the exact same. This isn't about me, but my favorite movie of all time, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Right? In my opinion,
Great
the best
movie.
thing that's ever been made.
Nice.
My guilty pleasure favorite movie of all time, Tropic Thunder. Like,
Nice.
it's apples and oranges. I couldn't put the two in the same category ever, but those are my two favorites on the opposite ends there. So I definitely get having the, just cinematic masterpiece is the best ever made. And this is like what I really love watching.
Well, that's like when people say, like, what's your favorite video game? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, Metal Gear Solid 4. But if you say, what in your opinion is the greatest video game ever made, you're going to get a different answer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I limit everybody with like the last 20 years, because most people just automatically do that. And they go, oh, the original Zelda or the original Mario or Contra or Pong.
You know
so I
what
always
the greatest,
keep it recent.
You know what the greatest video game of all time is? And I could write a book about this. I'm convinced, and I've come to this epiphany over just the last couple of recent years. The greatest video game ever made is Tetris.
Fair enough.
It is the greatest single video game ever. It's accessible to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's endured the test of time like crazy. It's playable on anything. It's sold like crazy. Easy to learn, impossible to master.
True.
It does everything. I can't say enough. I'm like, oh, that really to me has to be, I think, for all intents and purposes, the single greatest game ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite game. I love Tetris, but it's not my favorite game. But I think it is the greatest game ever made.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. McNuts.
Best music too.
Movies.
Yeah.
Movies? Oh, dude.
Movie.
We talk about favorite movie and guilty pleasure. Favorite movie of all time for me is Coming to America, man. I can quote that word I love Coming to America, dude. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Seriously. That's a cosplay still in the works as well. And then guilty pleasure. So here's the thing. Guilty pleasure. I'll give you two of the cast members, and you can tell me the movie, right? So Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson. What movie is that?
Lost in Translation.
There you go. That's my favorite.
Wow.
Yep.
Nux, you are full of surprises. I never would have guessed that.
The thing about it, I don't know what it is. It's a comfort movie for me. I can watch that. I have no DVD. I might watch that after the show, to be honest with you, man, because it's just, I don't know what it is about that movie.
It's like a hug.
Yeah.
That movie's like a hug. Yeah.
It is.
No, I feel you.
And that's one of the movies that actually made me want to go to Japan, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's just so much fun. That movie is a lot of fun, yo. A lot of fun.
An absolutely exceptional pick. I love it.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Last round. Civ, favorite musical artist?
Prince.
Easy and fast.
Easy.
You knew it. You were ready to go.
It's just undisputable for me. He's the Beethoven of our time. I mean,
fair enough.
Like, and I don't even know. Maybe that's not even high enough praise. But yeah, it's Prince. Like, by far.
Yeah. Love it. Nux.
Oh,
favorite musical artist.
Growing up with him, listen to him on Walkman. Busta Rhymes. Love Busta Rhymes. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Classic Busta Rhymes, man. I love him. Outstanding.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
You guys aren't going to answer those same questions for us.
No, it's about you guys. Do you want our answers? Okay. We can answer too. Benny,
yeah,
hit him
I'm
up.
curious.
Let's hear. Recent video game, movies, musical artist.
What was the game year? 20, 25?
Yeah, just in the 20 years. In the 2000s is fine.
Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, great.
And what was the next thing?
Favorite movie?
Ooh, Terminator.
Your favorite movie and guilty pleasure movie.
Okay.
We'll do both.
Never Ending Story.
I just watched that last week. Yep.
And guilty pleasure is Orgasmo.
Hell yeah. Benny turned me onto that.
I've watched it easily 600 times in my lifetime.
Shoo!
Trey Parker and Matt Stone haven't even watched that movie that many times.
I know, right?
And my bucket list guests are them to talk about Orgasmo.
Nice.
Not about anything else.
Yeah, just Orgasmo. We won't even talk about South Park.
Why is there not a sequel? Why don't we know what happened to Chota Boy? Like I need answers.
He needs closure.
Yeah, it's been bothering him his whole
I
life.
mean, I have fan fiction written 20 years ago.
Dude, you
Love it.
need to. They're wacky enough, man. They would probably do it. They probably
Yeah.
Listen, one of their most inspiring stories is how they got their show, and they sent a letter in, and they snail mailed it, and in the women it got read.
Yep.
So like listen, most of our guests, fortunate enough, I just reach out and ask, and they either say
Yeah.
yes or no. So I've been trying, but imagine that we can go back to this show if that ever happens.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I would probably pass out if I met them, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there's only like a handful of people that I would like nerd out like that. Arnold
Mhm.
Schwarzenegger is up
Yeah.
there, them and Buckethead, which I might be able to meet him next week because that's my musician. Segue
Okay.
into the last
Segue
question.
into
Nice.
musician. Buckethead.
Buckethead, Idol.
Outstanding.
Nice.
Outstanding. All right. So for me, favorite game is Bloodborne. Easily, and I also would argue, in my opinion, technically, after launch, the best, like the coolest, most cohesive world ever made for a game, and the way it unravels and everything else, I think is second to none. I am incredibly biased, but then movies, obviously, I said 2001: A Space Odyssey is like the best. Tropic Thunder is my guilty pleasure. Honorable mention to Lord of the Rings, because that would be, I've watched the extended Lord of the Rings trilogy more than I've probably watched anything else ever. But a lot of that comes from just being such a huge fan. It's my favorite thing in existence is Lord of the Rings, which is a whole different show.
Are you a Kubrick, back to your 2001 Space Odyssey, are you a Kubrick fan in general or just
Yes.
of that movie? Yeah,
Yes,
me too.
huge.
I love Kubrick.
Yeah, I think Paths of Glory is actually, I think 2001: A Space Odyssey is the best movie. I think Paths of Glory is actually Kubrick's best movie, which is a weird thing to
Wow.
say. Yeah, right?
I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't have ever, if you gave me 10 guesses, I wouldn't have guessed that one.
Yeah. Paths of Glory it fundamentally changed how I saw cinema for, the rest of the life that I've had thus far.
No, it's not a wrong answer. It's just he's one of those guys that just like he died batting 1,000. Like I don't think he ever made anything that just wasn't anything short of phenomenal.
Perfect.
Right.
Like I just don't have anything. I love all of his movies. I love everything that he touched. He to me is just, if I could go back in time, that would be my bucket list. Like if I could talk to him, I would like to spend 5 minutes and just soak it in for a minute.
See, that's the one thing that I haven't seen a video game emulate yet, is something in a Kubrickian style accurately. Like if you could really create a game that pulled that sort of like environmental feeling, that visceral experience that he had, like, man, you'd have gold.
So I think We Happy Few tried. I feel like that was an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
I truly feel like that's the closest or like the most direct attempt anyone has ever made to do something like that. I don't think it landed, but I think that is the only one that really, really gave it a go.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then favorite musical artist is Tool.
Nice.
Yeah, huge, massive Tool fan. So
you gotta give us like a lyric, man, in your singing voice, real quick.
Oh, I have no singing voice, but Jesus, won't you fucking whistle is my mantra. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But Tool.
Well, guys, thanks again for having us, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
man.
We gotta do this more often, honestly.
Yeah, this is gonna be a recurring thing. This partnership, we're gonna bounce back and forth, man.
Oh, absolutely, 100%, man. I can't.
Mikasa Sukasa.
Yes, sir.
Except for Civ, you can't have my toys.
Oh, I was, dude.
Civ was on the way.
I see that Fort Max.
I might see you at too many games, which will be really cool. That's the next goal. So But you guys, real quick, you guys have a show that you're going to be doing this weekend, right?
Yeah. So tomorrow, I don't know when this is going to air, but I mean, tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to be in Philadelphia there, setting up shop, doing our little gaming setup, our table there. We're going to meet and greet some people in Philadelphia, meet some of the fans. Going to have just kind of a low key day, no real big agenda going on. They got some gaming tournaments and stuff, but the convention's called Idealisticon.
Yeah.
Okay. So like Idealistic Con. You can find it on Eventbrite. So
first time doing this con too. First time.
Yeah.
Here. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, we'll make sure to link everything. Obviously, if you guys end up doing content, it'll be a great way for everybody to see more current stuff for you guys. So happy to share that.
Yep.
But thank you so much for your time. We love you guys. And this is something we look forward to doing more of. So
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks,
Absolutely, man.
Everybody, thank you for your listening. As always, take care. Have fun.